today we are going to cover how to create a course with content that you already have or that already exists with ChatGPT and Claude. So, one more time, today you will learn how to create a course with content that you already have or that already exists, leveraging AI, specifically ChatGPT and Claude. If you're here on YouTube, we'd love to see you here live. Introduce yourself, share who you are in the chat so that you can connect with others. And I appreciate you very much. If you are on LinkedIn, all you have to do is click my face and click the link below my face to come to the YouTube channel. All right. So, good morning, everyone. The first thing that we're going to show you today is how to leverage ChatGPT or Claude to improve a course curriculum that already exists. Shankar is going to go through this part of the training. And then the second part of the training will be to improve a course curriculum and to create one based on content that you already have that's not a course. So maybe you did a webinar, maybe you have a long video for a landing page, maybe you did a Zoom training, maybe you have a podcast out there that could potentially become a course. This is something that I want you to be able to leverage for future courses. So go ahead, Shankar.
Awesome. So let me share my screen here with you all. And then, okay, so as you can see, we are here on Udemy, which is a very known platform for course publications. And what I did is I searched beforehand the term intermittent fasting. It is something that I am very interested in, and I have actually recently started to get back on my intermittent fasting track. So now what we're trying to achieve today is see what we can learn from this existing curriculum and see if there are any things that can also be improved. Now, very important, you want to select a course that is already popular. So we can see here, this is a bestseller and it has 4.9 rating here, 4.9 stars. So it's probably a very good starting point. Now, what we will do now is we will go and look at the course content, the curriculum. And what I will do in order to get us started, because what I want to do is I will bring all of this into ChatGPT. So ideally, I would be able to just highlight this and kind of copy paste it over. But you see, it doesn't pick up the section headings here, and also the links, it doesn't seem to pick up. So we need to find a creative way to bring over that text. So what I will do is I will click expand all sections. And now I will screenshot. I'm on an Apple computer, so I will screenshot the section here. You see it in gray. So these are the first three sections. Screenshot it. Now I will go the next two sections, screenshot it, and I will do it one more time. And of course, you would want to make sure that you capture the entire course like that. But for our purposes today, we're just going to stick to 3 screenshots. Now, you might ask, why are you doing this? Well, let me show you. I'm going to open a new note here. And I will now take my screenshots. This is the first one. And as you can see on Apple, not many people know that, you can, in your screenshots, you can now highlight the text in the screenshot, and I can conveniently copy paste that over like so. So I'm just gonna do the two other ones. So this is the second one. And then I will go with the third one. Whoop. We already
Who
did.
knew how to do that? If you knew that you could do that with Apple, put yes or no in the chat. Want to get a read of the room? Also, like the live if you're on YouTube. If you're listening on LinkedIn, all you have to do is click the link below my face on my LinkedIn profile to watch us live. What we are doing is going through a process where you identify a top rated course on a platform like LinkedIn Learning or Udemy or whatever masterclass, right? Just some top rated course out there from a respected source. And you're going to leverage the existing curriculum. We're going to critique that curriculum. And then we're going to ask AI or prompt AI to build a better one based on something that already exists. And then we're going to ask it to curate it specifically for the audience that you serve. So we're going through a couple step process. So if you are listening on LinkedIn and you want to watch as well, just click the link below my face on my profile and head over to YouTube. Go ahead, Shankar.
Okay, so now what I will do is I will select all of that in my note and I can close my notes now. Now I will move over to ChatGPT and I will open a new chat. I'll go to ChatGPT 4 for this exercise, but this should also work in ChatGPT 3.5. Maybe it will have different results slightly, but it should work. So what I will first do is I will paste this in here. And let me zoom in a little bit so it's easier for you to see.
Shankar knows that some of us don't have perfect eyesight.
I have learned that, yeah. So as you can see, it's kind of the formatting is not very nice because of the way I copy pasted it over from the image. Now, what I will do now is I will hit Shift Enter, which lets me go in the next line without submitting this. So, and then I visually always like to make a distinction between my input and my command. So now I will say clean this up, and I think it will understand what I mean with that. So already we'll have a nice cleaned up version of the curriculum that we entered. So we have the introduction, and then it was smart enough to identify the section titles. So we have the section intermittent fasting myth and misconception. We have the intermittent fasting timeline. We have should I be exercising as part of my weight loss program? And we have intermittent fasting as a powerful calorie cycling tool for weight loss. And then I believe this should be the last part, the benefits of fasting. So this already, learning this part here, I hope is already showing you the power of this tool, because had you had to do that by hand, would have been very tedious to do. Now, please keep in mind during this presentation, I didn't copy the entirety of the curriculum, but we do have a lot in here. So what now, if you are in a situation where you yourself want to create a curriculum on intermittent fasting, but you want to not start from scratch, you want to be smart and learn from others, right? But you also want to see what could be improved. Well, luckily there's ChatGPT who can help you with that. So my next input here, my next command is critique the above curriculum and propose an improvement, and improve it, and improve it. So let's see what that gives us. It gives us an evaluation of the provided curriculum. So let's see what it critiques. It says there is some redundancy here in the outline. And then it says the organization, while the sections are well defined, some could be restructures for better flow and understanding. So knowing that ChatGPT knows what people love to read and how they like to consume information, we can trust it that it knows a good deal about organizing content well, right? It says some sections seem to lack depth, consistency in formatting, um, and then practical application. That's the critique. So
I love how it changed the first thing. What was the first module in his course?
um, it was introduction, how to get the most out of the
How
course,
intro
and what
so
is.
it so I love well, I love how it kept that
Mhm,
because that's a powerful first module, like how intermittent fasting saved my life. So I like that it kept that bold start. Okay,
mhm.
go back. About the instructor.
Okay. And then we have understand. So let's see if we can have a side by side view here where we can kind of see a little bit what it did. So I'm going to show you a new feature here. If you hadn't known yet on Macs, you can do
We're
this.
not even gonna get into how you just did that, but
Okay, that's for another day. But yeah, so let me try to line this up. So we have the introduction here. Certainly keep these points a little shorter. We have 3 points here, but it has broken it up into two. So it's about the course is here, and then about the instructor, it's its own section, which I think that makes sense. And then instead of using what is intermittent fasting, it chooses to say understanding intermittent fasting, which is psychologically a little bit nicer, right? It's not like what is it, but help you understand what it is. And then it seems to have chosen to include the myths into this section here. Um, so we have this, and then we're going to the timeline. Okay, kept that. Then the next one is, should I be exercising as part of my weight loss program? Um, Exercising with intermittent fasting. Uh,
strengthening cardio.
Benefits. So it definitely
I like that it put, "What if I can't exercise or don't want to?" I like that it kept that, but
yeah.
there's some bullet points that it's missing, so you need to tell it that, like, be
Mhm.
like, "Some of these bullet points are not filled in."
Okay. So yeah, it took shortcuts here. Um, let's see what else it did before we do so in exercising. I like how it chose to shorten some of these subtitles because that's really important to scan the curriculum and know what you want. Advanced. So let's see, exercising, and then intermittent fasting as a powerful calorie cycling. So it prefaces the calorie cycling with an advanced technique, right?
Because it is.
Yeah. Um, okay. Then the comprehensive benefits of fasting, and then practical applications and next steps. So again, that's where we stopped giving it input, but definitely like a good starting point. But we can do more, right, Shanae? What do you think we should try?
I mean, there's 2 things before because
Mhm.
we're on the timeline here, and if you're liking the YouTube, click like. If you're on LinkedIn, head over to the YouTube. You could do that by clicking the link below my face and then watching the training on video. So, ideally, if we had a lot of time, we could tell it to elaborate some sections, like make some sections more robust than others. But what Shankar is going to actually do is now tailor it. He could say now, im- uh, improve this curriculum so that it serves busy entrepreneurs, like whoever your target market is, that need to meal prep in advance.
Okay, so I just gave it that command. And this is really where the power of AI comes into play because it has written AI.
I love how it put why entrepreneurs should trust this program.
Where does it? Okay, yeah.
So this would be the next layer. So let's go through this process. Now, this process is not specific to Udemy because I wouldn't say that um, Udemy courses are like the gold standard of courses, right? Some of them are great. Look at the reviews, but there are free Harvard courses online. There are free courses from multiple Ivy League universities. There are LinkedIn learning courses that you could apply this principle to. And as a side note, LinkedIn also has their transcripts available on LinkedIn Learning, but we won't get into that today. Um, and there's just a lot out there. But the point is to find something similar to what you would like to build, even if it's not for the same audience. Like if there was a fitness coach out there that only served entrepreneurs, they could take the foundations and then just build off of it to improve. Because the fact that it's top rated on any of these sites shows that there's interest and that people like the flow and that there's a certain standard. There's something there that is proven already, right? So this is a process where you would build content off of something that is just available on the internet. The second process that I'm going to show you on the screen is to build content from something that you have created, which honestly is my preferred method. But there's some people that don't have the same amount of content, let's say, compared to someone like me that has a ton of content out there, that I could probably do this 100 times in a month and create 100 different courses on different topics just based on the long form content out there that I do have available. So now what I'm going to show you are two different processes. Number one, doing this based on off of a YouTube transcript. Number two, doing this based off a video that you have. It could be a webinar that you did, that a podcast download. I don't care what it is, but just something that you have on your computer. We're going to get the transcript from it, and then we're going to build the curriculum. So if you're ready, put yes in the chat. I want to see like 20 readies before we continue. If you're listening on LinkedIn, now is your last chance basically to come over to watch the YouTube training live and to be able to ask your questions live in about 10 minutes. So we're going to go through this process. Put yes in the chat if you're ready to move forward. Any final thoughts, Shankar, before we go forward?
Yeah, I think again we could go very deep now in really asking it to customize a few things. There are good ideas that it has added, like dining out and strategies for dining out and business meals. Like that one alone, knowing how important that is for entrepreneurs. And you could definitely ask it to flesh out the subsections. So again, we won't do that today, but just know that by really getting used to using AI, you can save yourselves or your team hours and hours of work.
Okay. So, and I like the fact that it did the headings a little bit different too. Like every heading was kind of unique to entrepreneurs. So I'm going to share my screen. The first process, we're going to take a YouTube transcript from a video that we've created. So this is my content, and we're going to build off of this content to be able to create a course curriculum. So, okay. So this is the YouTube video that I'm going to use for this example. It's called Attract Better Leads with LinkedIn Newsletters. Aside, if you have not launched your LinkedIn newsletter, you definitely should. And this is a whole tutorial training on it. This training is 24 minutes long. So I am not going to use ChatGPT because it's it's too long for me to input and to do this with the tokens available. So ChatGPT would probably only let me do this 10 minutes at a time. So we're going to go to an AI called Claude. So over here, I did it the long way, but you could also just copy this, and then you want to go to Claude. So I'm going to share this. Now what I'm going to tell Claude is I'm going to say create a course curriculum for attract better clients with LinkedIn newsletters uh, for based on this transcript. And this follows exactly what we did in the conversation. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it this way because sometimes Claude could, it really is best. I don't want to say start a new chat every time, but it's almost best with one command thing. So I'm going to say critique this course curriculum. How could it be better? Right. This is amazing. So these are all the things that I missed. And this is why it's so powerful. We're going to get into so much. We're building your curriculum because of all your requests. We love you for it. But this is so powerful because this is how you could kind of go through a process before you even do a live training like this. It could catch your blind spots in advance. So it said add more details on practical strategies, elaborate on different promotion tactics, both on and off LinkedIn. Shankar, that's something we totally missed, right? So
Mhm.
how do you grow your LinkedIn newsletter off of LinkedIn? That could be a whole other video. Module 4 should also cover different formats for content. We kind of were more written and video based, more specifics on effective call to actions. So we could redo this training one of these mornings and literally include all of this. So now I'm going to tell it to recreate the curriculum with all of these, improvements. So recreate the course curriculum to include these improvements. So you see promotion, it
Mm.
improved this with promotion tactics on LinkedIn and promotion tactics off LinkedIn, including, and it even did examples, email, website, social media. Promotion tactics on LinkedIn, content sharing, sponsored posts, etc. Creating valuable content. It did it with formats and some A/B testing stuff. Advanced newsletter strategy and repurposing. Paid promotion options, we totally missed that. Partnership options, we missed that. Automation, we didn't even touch on that. And then some case studies. So this is how you could leverage content that you already have to really set the foundations for you to refilm and redevelop a more robust and more effective course curriculum so that the people that actually take your course get better results. What did you all think of that? I love how someone said hell yes. I love it. So this is a good question. What would the prompts be if you're copying and pasting an existing blog post or video transcript that you want to use? So my specific prompt was first you want to tell it to create a course curriculum. So you could say, uh, hold on. I said create a course curriculum. I'm just going to put this in the chat. Now there's one more thing. So it's create a course curriculum for, and then you would put the name of your blog or the name that you have in mind based on this transcript. All right. So that's one way to do it. But what if your thing is not on YouTube, you know? And again, if you're on the YouTube chat, just smash the like button. It really matters for us. And we're like average 54 now. Last week we were like at average 13 or 20. So we've already doubled. I love you for it. On LinkedIn, you have to click the link below my face to come watch live. And this is the last training part of the session, and then we're going to do Q&A. So start to put all of your questions in the chat. We're going to answer them live. So the third part of this is, well, what if you don't have the thing on YouTube? What you would do, and we're going to spend a whole week on Descript coming up, because Descript, you can edit videos, you can get transcripts from videos, you can clone your voice. That may take a whole week. So there's a lot that we're going to start sharing. But basically what you want to do is, let me go to my StreamYard and share my screen. Hold on. How do I'm just going to share so you see this? Can you see this, Shankar? The
Yes.
link? Okay. So what I did was on Descript, all you have to do is do new project. Okay. And then what you would do is you would choose a file to transcribe. And then let's say it's this one. This is a short little file, but it's 16 seconds. So it's good for me to show as an example. So it will automatically transcribe your video or audio file. It does not have to be only a video file. Once it's transcribed, then you have everything you need to do what we just did. Now, this is a little short example, but that's everything that I said in the video. If I go back to projects, this is the same training that we grabbed from YouTube, all right? So I'm just gonna copy all of it, the 24 minutes. I'm gonna copy, and then we would do literally the same thing that we did before, which was to go to Claude, all right? And then to say, create a course curriculum based on this transcript. So it's just another way of literally doing the same thing. So if you do not have the video on YouTube, this is how you would grab the transcript. From this stage, we do the same thing. Remember, we tell it to critique the curriculum that it creates. And then from there, we ask it to recreate the curriculum, including the critique, the improvements based on the critique. So that's a process that you would follow. And we covered quite a lot today. So what are your questions? So would you ask for the changes to be put in a voice of anyone? This is really, the more you know your clients, the more you know how to refine the output that you receive. The less you know your clients, the less you know how to refine the output that you receive. So the best way, the principle that I would follow is to really think about, like, what style of reading do your clients most gravitate towards? Some of your clients are extremely educated, they live in a more professional world, whatever. They're more corporate, they're more formal, and maybe they gravitate to a higher grade level of reading. Some of your clients are just more like myself, right? They're practical. They, when I see very formal and fluffy stuff, I don't want to be a part of it. And I just want the practical strategies, right? So you need to really get a sense of, like, what type of reading do your clients gravitate towards? And then all of your content should really be refined towards that style. So there is no right and wrong. It's just how well do you know your client? And when I say your clients, I mean your top 20%, the people that pay you the most with the least resistance.
So then the answer is also yes, you can then go and tell ChatGPT or Claude, use the existing curriculum and rewrite it in the voice of, for example, an author that would match the description.
Yes. So you could do a Harvard Business Voice if that's something that you think your clients would like, right? But for some people, their clients respond more to like a Frank Kern or Alex Hermosi type of style marketing. And it's a more friendly vibe versus a more formalized vibe. Um, can the Descript technique be used on any type of video or document? Pretty much. The only thing I don't think it does is PDFs, right? I don't think it does PDFs.
Yeah, that's correct. But PDFs, I believe.
Don't open that.
All right.
Don't open that rabbit hole. We're not going to go there today. We will teach you how to do this with PDFs at a certain point, but not today. What else? What is the name of the software you use to create the newsletter? Are you talking about Claude or ChatGPT? Which one?
That was during the LinkedIn newsletter that you referred to. So we were talking about the LinkedIn newsletter, which that in itself is a topic on its own. But this process here can be applied to any newsletter software that you use, even if you might use MailChimp, you might use Constant Contact. It's about copy pasting that into your software of choice.
How much editing do you do after the ChatGPT version to make it original before publishing? I would say quite a bit. I'm never happy with it. Mm, and it can never infuse certain examples. So even though, for example, in the LinkedIn newsletter training, we didn't include how to promote your LinkedIn newsletter off of LinkedIn, there's a reason why I wouldn't advise that. And there's only one type of person that I would advise that for. I would only advise, and this is where it would not get the nuance that I would be able to provide on my own. Number one, I would only advise that for someone that does not have their own private email list. Because if you're going to promote anything off of LinkedIn and you do have a private email list, it should be your own email list, not your LinkedIn newsletter. So I'd only advise promoting your LinkedIn newsletter off of LinkedIn if that is your only source of being able to reach people in the emails. That's number one. Number two, if you are going to promote your newsletter off of LinkedIn and other social media spaces, that's a course in and of itself, which is essentially if you're on social media, like people think that I teach people just how to grow on LinkedIn. It's much more than that. You need to get to a point where you're building your list. Everything that you do on social media should lead to one place, and that should be to build your private list. But there's stages to it. You don't have to feel bad if you're not there yet. And that's where I differ from a lot of coaches is that, in the beginning, you may not even have a list. That's fine. You could start with something like the LinkedIn newsletter and work towards there. How much do people care if content is generated by AI or not? What have you found? For some, it seems to be a big deal. Okay, so personally, I don't care as long as I know the person really knows what they're talking about and they're a true expert in what it is that they do. Where it kind of is a little bit unethical for me is someone that's just pretending, but that could happen with Google too. Um, or when someone is claiming that they wrote something. Like I'm glad Amazon put in that restriction that like now nobody can sell their book on their platform unless it's 70% human or something. What was the rule? It's something like that. Amazon, hold on, I want to get you the right information. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amazon, if the quality of such Amazon has resources and ability that can detect AI generated content. I think if it's more, I'll find the right information, but I was told if it's more than like 30% AI, they may ban it. And I think that that's the right thing to do, because it's one thing to say like, "Hey, I co-wrote this," or like, "This was mainly written by AI." It's another thing to tell people, "Yeah, I wrote this entirely," and it wasn't. And like, as a reader, we have purchased books from people that claim that they wrote it, and you could just tell it's ChatGPT all the way. So it also indirectly like affects your brand long term. So just, you know,
Yeah, I
there's a
think
cost to shortcuts. There's a cost to shortcuts.
yeah, I mean, I think this is also a phenomenon of the human nature who is averse to change. And there's also part of it is just, let's say for example on social media, and if someone makes a comment, well, that was generated with AI, then my question is, well, was this, I still took my time to generate it. Was this helpful to you or not? Because if it was helpful, that's really all I care about. The rest is probably more of a comment out of jealousy because they don't know how to do it themselves, or because they are not diligent enough to do it themselves. Because what we show you here today, I can guarantee you 80% of people still won't go and apply it, but you will. And that's the difference, right? It is a tool that if you refuse to leverage it, you're just going to be at a huge disadvantage to your competition who does choose to do so.
Yeah, and I think that, I love that Shelley put this. I like that quote. Um, Again, for me, it's just, is this person a real expert at what it is that they do? And
Yeah.
that's why I'm really committed to helping people grow their personal brand, because who I help are the experts that are just invisible because they're not sharing their expertise. And it's so much easier for me to help someone like that because you actually know what you're talking about. You have stories to share, you have case studies. It just needs to come out of you to be organized by AI. But someone that has no idea what they're doing, they won't be able to infuse expertise into whatever they generate with AI. They won't be able to see when AI gets it wrong, like I did with sharing off of social media, right? If you really had never helped people grow an email list or help advise people, you'd be like, yeah, promote your LinkedIn newsletter off of social media. That's like the worst idea you can have if you have your own private list. So
Mhm.
there's nuances to this, and you will only be able to catch the nuances if you're a true expert. So that's, for me, when I'm looking at something, you know, does I think the question for me is baseline. So everything in life is about baseline. What type of content are your competitors creating? What type of content are your prospects, consuming elsewhere? Your baseline has to be 5 to 10x more nuanced and more valuable than whatever baseline there is in your industry. If not, you're just going to blend in with the crowd.
Yeah, and you do yourself a huge disservice because part of what we teach, bringing out that content leads to opportunities for you where you can not leverage AI. For example, live interviews, speaking engagements, people asking your questions like we do right now, live questions on the spot. If you get into a situation where people think you know, but you don't, you're just going to embarrass yourself.
And it's all about delivery. So this is something that we focus on in the personal brand challenge. If you want to join the challenge, go to yougrow.club, yougrow.club. It starts next week. But one of the things that I teach, it's not just the content you share, it's how you share it. All of us could get that course curriculum with the same script, but I guarantee you we will get different results when it comes to the way that we deliver to the camera. Even if it were just an audio only course, we would get completely different results in retention of who opens the course, who actually stays to listen, who actually gets results, and who actually upsells. Why? Because there's much more to this than just a transcript or an organizational breakdown of a curriculum. Delivery is your ultimate differentiator. And if you don't practice, then you won't get better at delivery. And that's something that I really help clients with. So if you want to learn all that, go to ugrow.club. I think it's great to use for structure and go Spark a foundation, but infusing your own expertise and experience is key. Yes. Wait, I think I can make wait, I want to go to YouTube real quick. I can't do it on StreamYard, but I can do it on I think YouTube. Hold on. Where I make people mods. uh Tara, I'm gonna make you a mod. Where's Andrea? See what you could do as a mod. Tell me in the chat. Where's Andrea?
Oh, she just posted there.
Okay, I see. Andrea, I'm making you. Okay, cool. We got 2 more minutes. What other questions? What is a mod? Oh, a moderator. So I guess on YouTube, it allows me to put people as moderators of the chat. Let me go up and see if we missed any questions. Yes. So this analysis is being done with the curriculum. I assume you could do the same thing with the written course and asking it to improve the content itself. Yes, we only covered curriculum today, but we're actually going to do another training where we cover the actual content of each module. And not just that, this applies to titles. This applies to the platform that you choose. And then forget about creating the course. If you can create something, if people don't know it exists, they'll never buy it, which is why I tell people grow your personal brand now, get them warm now so that when you do launch something, you'll have buyers ready. But the biggest mistake that I see people make over and over is they'll create a course and then they don't have an audience. So then they struggle. And this is, yeah, I forgot. This is where you go. Andrea and Tara put it up here for the personal brand challenge, ugrow.club.
And actually, I believe moderators should be able to pin the link at the top.
Yeah, what's happening, mods? Can someone pin the link for the challenge?
So, Andrea, if you know how to do that, pin it. The other good question, Shanae, from Victor was, where do most beginners get stuck?
That's a very general question. Where do most beginners get stuck? If it's specific to this process, it would be they don't have clients or they're not paying enough attention to their clients, so they don't even know what to create.
Mm-hmm.
Like where they get stuck is they create something that no one wants because they think it's cool or because they just assume that their audience wants it. I said this in the training yesterday and I'll say it again. I do not recommend anyone build an on-demand course until you do a live beta group. And we could do a whole training on that one day. If you go ahead and do an on-demand course without a live beta, good luck to you, but you will never compete with someone. You'll never be able to compete with someone that has done live beta courses before they do on demand.
Yep. My answer, Victor, is most beginners never start. It's a problem of inaction, right? They just don't do it. You all know this now. It'd be very interesting to see who actually follows through. And by the way, that is also part of the challenge. If you go to ugrow.club, we will actually incentivize you to take action, and we will give you a chance to build a habit of action taking. And just
I pinned it.
Oh, you Awesome.
Yeah, 'cause they could only I guess it could only be pinned on the
By
desktop. So
by
I
you.
pinned it, it's at the top. Yay, it's our first pin
It's the
on
first
YouTube.
thing, yeah. I love how we are learning by doing. It's very entrepreneurial to build something. We have this metaphor where we say, you build the plane in midair, right? And that's what we're doing. That's awesome.
Yes. So the personal brand challenge is pinned at the top. All you have to do is register. It's free. It's for 4 days. We start next week. You'll finish the challenge with 4 pieces of content. Yeah, and we'll update that. It's for you'll get a new one. Lori, I see. All you have to do is register. We'll send you the new link for August because it's still taking them to July.
Oh, okay.
But don't worry. All you have to do is register. Um, With course, are they live presentation courses or audio courses? So this is a good question. Uh, I think that the course should first be live, and we can do we'll actually dedicate a whole week to this in August because I keep seeing the repeat question and I follow patterns. The first live beta course that I did, it was on LinkedIn. I'm teaching people how to create their LinkedIn live event. This is just an example of why you need to do it live. I was like, okay, everyone, grab your thumbnail because we needed to create the live event. I had about 10 people looking at me like I was speaking Chinese. And I was like, oh, they don't know how to create a thumbnail. Right. So that's a little hurdle that, okay, now I had to improve the curriculum and include not just how to create the thumbnail because it would take too long. That's the second thing I did. Okay, well, this is how you create it, go create it. They wouldn't do it. It would take them too long. It would. So then the third improvement that I did was here's your thumbnail template from Canva. You literally only have to type your words. And then that made it better. So there's so many blind spots that like we assume people know how to do. We've had people in the cohorts be like, I don't know how to post a video on LinkedIn. I don't know how to post a video from my phone. So, like the simplest things, and you would never know that that would be like a block unless you have a live training. Right? So that's why when I launch a LinkedIn course coming up very soon, there will be no competition because for the last 2 years, and I say that confidently, and everyone knows for the last 2 years almost, it'll be 2 years in January, I have been doing live cohort trainings over and over and over and over and over again. And what I have learned, the barriers that people have from mindset to technical abilities, you can't learn that by just starting on demand. So, I mean, am I lying?
No, no, not at all. I was just chuckling because
Where's the lie?
someone put it Chinese. All right. Can you send a link? Lori, it is pinned in the chat at the very top. It's
Yeah,
pinned.
it's pinned at the top, and you'll hear about it more. We'll tell you about it tomorrow. Um, but yeah, especially if you're a client of mine, like I know some of you on here are like Janet and Tara. Um, but where's the lie, right? So we appreciate all of you, and we hope that this training was valuable. If it was, share it with a friend. Tell them to subscribe. We will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shankar, any final words?
Yeah, for all of you still on LinkedIn in the audio room, the recording will be on Shanae's YouTube channel.
Yes. We're gonna break 100,000. This is our first real month on YouTube, and we'll break 100,000 views this month. And let me tell you, this is gonna be another course. It hasn't been easy. This YouTube thing is a journey, is a beast. Shankar and Antreya know the sacrifice that I've already had to make this a priority, but I do it because I want to reach as many people as possible. And I want us to grow on this platform. I think it's essential. And I appreciate your support early in this journey. So I won't forget you when we blow up. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful morning. Have a beautiful Wednesday. Happy hump day. Happy August. Yesterday was full moon. Everything is possible. August is going to be the best month ever. God bless you. Ciao.